Well, and we certainly saw some bonehead plays.
I liked the acquisition of Renteria when they made it.
I did too.
I did not expect him to be so befuddled by the defense in Boston for whatever reason it was. 37 errors or something like that season.
I was shocked with that.
And so, but I liked it at the time. I did not like the acquisition of Lugo. And hindsight is always 20/20, but it kind of makes you wonder why they just didn't pay the money for Orlando Cabrera in the first place and just kept him.
They could have had him again at the trade deadline.
They could have had him again at the trade deadline, But I mean, back in 2004, they let him go at the end of 2004.
Yep.
They only had him for about a month and a half. But he's been a very solid player. He's been in 5 different teams or whatever since then. But he's been a very solid player all the way around. And
I do think
he'd look pretty good in a Red Sox uniform right now.
Certainly would be. He certainly would be solving our "get a shortstop now" questions. But I think the front office had something to do with it. I don't think that they cared for him. I think something went on behind closed doors that didn't stick with him, because they got to have some grudge with him, because he's putting up numbers that the Red Sox just need right now. And his home is in Minnesota right now, so we wish him the best.
Good old Twinkies.
Now,
gotta love them.
Our big trade deadline acquisition was Victor Martinez from the Indians.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on how he's been?
Well, I think he hasn't been great thus far. I think he's still acclimating himself. I think he's going to be fine. He's been a hitter his entire career, and he's going to hit. His defense at catcher has gotten better. I really think they acquired him, yes, for this season, but I think they don't intend to bring Varitek back. And I think they brought him in to be, quote unquote, the catcher of the future, or they bring Varitek back as the backup or the bench coach guy or the bullpen catcher or something like that.
Yeah.
But I don't think I think they got him because they don't really see bringing Varitek back next year. And so I think that's why they got him primarily. I mean, they could use the bat in the lineup now too. I mean, they inserted him as the number 3 hitter.
Right.
So obviously they're expecting stuff out of him this year. But I think they're looking ahead also.
It really questions me, because right now we have obviously a problem with finding playing time. We have Mike Lowell, David Ortiz, Kevin Youkilis, Victor Martinez.
took care of that.
He certainly did. Casey Kochman and who am I forgetting? David Ortiz. I don't know if I said it.
Yeah. You have Ortiz. Basically, you have 4 positions. You have third base, catcher, first base,
and DH.
Yeah. And you've got Kochman, Youkilis, Lowell, Varitek, and Martinez.
Varitek I missed. That's what I missed.
So you have 5 players for 4 slots, all of whom are used to being starters.
Yep.
And so, I think Terry Francona's done a good job thus far of kind of mixing it up. And obviously with what happened with Youkilis last night, it's going to be a little easier.
It really solves our third base problems, I'll tell you that.
Solves our third base problem. It was obviously a lot of irony last night where Youkilis gets tossed and then Mike Lowell comes in and hits 2 home runs.
as in Terry, I'm in the lineup. Let's go.
I mean, I understand why they want to rest Lowell. Lowell has done a good job, but his hip has bothered him all year.
Yep.
From the end of last season, you can see it when he runs. His defense, though he hasn't made the errors, his range is very limited at third base right now. So you can see why they want to rest him. But at least he's going to get to play the next 5 games, right?
Here's my thing. It's just Varitek is really bugging me. Varitek, you can't have a guy with David Ortiz already hitting 219 right now, and Varitek well beyond his way to the Mendoza line. Okay, we have a problem here.
Yeah,
and you can't sit a guy that's hitting 300, with 13 homers, 57 RBIs on your bench.
Yeah.
Because we saw it last night. What happens?
Yep.
Without Lowell last night.
They have nothing. I mean, they 7.
Yeah, we do.
He is one of the best third basemen in the league.
Yep.
Whether or not we choose to accept that, he is, and I think he's got to play. He's got to play. I mean,
a lot of people are throwing him under the bus, saying he's
done.
He's too old to play over the hill.
And maybe he is next year, but for now, he's going to have to play the next 5 games.
Yep.
And I think beyond just taking a dive in the last week and a half.
Well, if you minus,
he has 15 home runs or 14 home runs since that point.
It is true. If you minus April and May, and maybe the first had a little bit of June, he's hitting 270.
Yeah.
Yeah. He had a little rut beginning of August, but we know why, and that bugged him.
Yeah.
Francona said it. Ortiz has said it. Now, what are your thoughts about this whole thing?
Well,
this whole mess. I'd like to say
it is a mess. I have some. We could spend a whole hour just talking about the list. Just a couple thoughts I have. First of all, I think whoever has the list is having a lot of fun throwing out 1 or 2, 3 names at a time. Having said that, is Ortiz guilty? Obviously, I have no idea.
Yep.
I know it's confirmed that he tested positive for something. He is on the list, so we know that. What he tested positive for, We don't know, and we can't find out because the list is sealed. So
one of the things that I watched the press conference on Saturday
Sure.
with Michael Weiner. That was kind of a joke with him, but he brought up some interesting points, and that's 84, the names that are on the list.
Right.
However, 84 doesn't mean that there's 84 players on the list.
Right.
Now with Ortiz, I think he could have taken something because he said he was careless with supplements and vitamins and stuff like that. Yeah, he could have gone to GNC and got something.
Right.
Whether it was here or the Dominican, we don't know, and he doesn't either.
I think in terms of, do I believe him when he doesn't know what he took? I think I probably do.
Yeah.
Because I think that in this case, for him, the smartest thing, if he knew he took steroids, if he knew he was shooting himself in the butt with a needle, the smartest thing for him to have done would have been to say, yeah, my career was in the dumper. I did it. I'm sorry. I made a mistake. It was the wrong thing to do. And that, of shooting himself in the butt, or whatever, actually taking steroids knowingly. Since he didn't do that, it makes me wonder either he's getting really bad advice, or he genuinely has no idea what he could have tested for because he wasn't injecting himself.
Right.
Doesn't mean he didn't take something orally, some kind of pill or something. He didn't know what it was or what have you. Did it help him in 2003, 2004, 2005? I mean, they started testing in 2004, so this is only for 2003. Obviously, you'd have to think it probably did, but does it taint everything that came since then? No. Who have admitted it. So does it taint it? Absolutely not, because that's the era. That's the era we're in, is the steroids era. That's what it's going to be known as. That's what it's going to be called, and that's what it is. 2003
is a great thing to bring up because, yeah, he could have tested positive for something in 2003. But you know what? The testing was in 2000.
So he hasn't tested positive since then. In 2004, 5, 6. People bring up 2006 because he hit 50-some-odd home runs, 54 home runs or whatever. So, I'm kind of all over the place with it. I choose.
Gives you a headache.
I'm a fan.
About it,
I'm a fan. I choose to believe he's telling the truth.
Yep.
Who really knows? But does it taint the memories of 2004 for me? Absolutely not. As a fan, I enjoyed it, and that's what it was.
For people even to say that, I mean, this was 03. They didn't win anything in 03.
No,
it was 04 and 07.
Right.
Where did he test positive? No World Series titles.
That's their job, though.
They're just making themselves look like complete jerks, as I think they are.
Yeah.
So
yeah. I find the whole thing interesting in the fact that nobody's talking about Manning. I mean, Manny was on that list from 2003 also. Now, granted, he tested positive this year for a masking agent. Interesting that nobody's even talking about Manny.
Yep. I do too, because I haven't heard anything about it.
Yeah, I haven't
even
heard
Maybe
if we lived in L.A., they'd be talking about it, but I tend to doubt it.
Yeah, let him be in Mannywood,
Mannywood.
But that was our drama with David Ortiz for the week. Hopefully it's over. Hopefully he can produce.
I do think it is interesting, the number of millions of dollars playing baseball in America, but you need to take some stuff.
Yep.
Of course you're going to do it. You're a 16-year-old kid. He says, forget about being able to read English. You probably didn't even read Spanish.
Yep.
These are illiterate kids. I'm not saying David Ortiz was illiterate. Yep. I read his book. I honestly don't remember when he said he learned how to read it. That's not important. But, you're
going to get to the next level.
You're going to get to the next level, and this guy is saying this is what's going to get you there. Of course you're going to do it. So I think that whole system needs to be looked at in some way if we're really interested in cleaning things up.
Yep.
I think that whole system needs to be looked at.
Well, what's amazing is that, this has been going on since 2004. It's 2009 right now.
Yeah, find out. Took steroids.
No, not at all.
I've been trying to think, either from a body type perspective or just from a, there are those I'd be very disappointed in.
Right.
But is there anybody I'd be shocked to find out? No. I'd be very disappointed.